Welcome to the kitchen at Middle Ground Farms. I'm Chef Jessica Hansen and I'm delighted to have Laurie Sheffield here today, and we're going to help make a very quick and very easy appetizer from your pantry. Welcome to the kitchen, Laurie.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm excited to see what you have for us today.
So we're going to start with just some simple things that you could either get out of your farm or out of your yard, or stop at the farmer's market and get an apple, which is a pink lady apple. You could use any firm apple. And today it's a Bartlett pear. And Bartlett pears just because that's the one we have. You could use Bosc or any of the other pears that we have. We're going to chop those up and put it into a pan with some butter.
Okay.
First, I'll actually start with putting the butter in the pan. Never hurts to have just a couple extra tablespoons. Butter's never going to kill you, but you can start with just as little as 1 tablespoon of butter, and then we'll get these chopped. I'm just going to pretend that I'm cutting around the core of the apple.
Okay.
So this is the easiest way, I think, to cut. You just literally pretend, oh, there's the core down the center. I don't want it. So we leave it just like this. Now at our house, this goes to the goats and the chickens, or a compost pile. So we're going to take those chunks, slice those into little bits. Now the size of this doesn't really matter, because if you can imagine, it's going to be all hot and warm after being sautéed, and it doesn't matter if it's hard or if it's soft. Just so any different size bites will work. I just like to do it in a little bit of a small to medium dice. Okay. We're just going to throw those pears into that warming butter. I'll turn up my heat just a little bit.
Do you want me to stir that, or is that okay just sitting there?
No, actually that's a great question. When you're sautéing something, sometimes people get so eager to stir, and you actually want it to have time to sit and get hot and heat. That'll add to the caramelization of the pears and the apples. So we've got that pear all chopped up.
I can take that off my compulsory list because I have a lot of compulsives in the kitchen.
Well, it's good that I've reduced it down to at least one less.
You got one less.
So the same thing with the apples. Doesn't matter what kind. We're just going to cut around the core. Okay. So the nice thing about cutting the apple this way is we've got flat surfaces to cut on. So that means it's safer in your kitchen. So instead of, again, cutting something that rolls around, you've got a nice flat surface to just cut this into chunks. And then as that starts to brown, I'm seeing the butter start to brown, I'm going to add a few more ingredients. Now this is where you can kind of add whatever you have in your pantry, some dried fruit and some nuts. I'm going to start with some sliced almonds, but you could use pecans, really any kind of nut that you have if you like walnuts, hazelnuts. And I'm adding them now because I want them to get a little bit brown as well. So before I add other ingredients. And you can see how important measuring is not. Okay. It doesn't really matter because you can't mess this up. It's sautéed apples and pears with some nuts and some dried fruit. So it's going to be delicious regardless of the amounts of stuff you put in it. So we've got our apple and our pear in it. I'm going to add now a little bit of brown sugar. And again, you can aim for 1/4 cup, or if you like more, add more. And then dried fruit. I love golden raisins, so they're one of my favorite things to add to it, so I'm going to add some of those. But because of the season, as it moves towards Christmas and with all the lovely colors that you see when you present food, I like to add some dried cranberries as well, because they'll add a nice punch of color. If apricots are your thing, chopping up some dried apricots would be really good as well. Now, since these are dried fruit, it would benefit from a little bit of hydration to make that caramel. I'm going to use an open bottle of Pinot Gris that we happen to have in the fridge. Okay.
And if I don't have wine in my kitchen, what would I use here, Jessica?
You could virtually use anything, but what I'd recommend, because of the flavors that we have going with the pear and the apple, I'd use some apple cider. Okay. So once we have that set like that, we are ready to just take our wheel of Brie. So this is just a whole wheel of Brie. Okay. And we're going to set this on top. So this is the side that would normally present. Okay. So we're going to put it presentation side down. So we're going to leave it completely whole. Set it like that. Yum. We're going to throw this into an oven. Our Brie is ready to come out of the oven. Now when I say 15 minutes, again, it depends on the oven temperature. Could be 15, could be 20. If you forget and it's 25, it's probably going to work out just fine. What we're looking for is softness in the Brie. My pan is hot. I use an oven-safe pan. So I just literally want to touch it and go, yeah, it's warm and gooey.
Can I touch it?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we're going to take that safely out of the oven. Now remember, this is a very, very hot pan. And if I could have you, while I put this on the plate, just start to cut some bread. We're just going to enjoy a nice fresh baguette.
Can I just break big old chunks, or what do you want me to do here exactly? Hack it? What do I do?
You could. It will be good however you decide to make it. It's perfect however you do it. However, what I would recommend is probably doing some nice slices, as though it's going to be a crostini. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just cut maybe a little on the bias. And, you know, slices about that thick. So I'm just going to go ahead and place place this warm pear caramel all over the top.
Okay.
And as you'll notice, those cranberries offer a nice, rich, warm red color to it. On a buffet line, I'm telling you, it takes quite a while for that first person to get the nerve to break into that. But don't you want to eat that?
Yeah,
we try to make it a reasonable bite for you so that you don't embarrass yourself. Let's see. Look at that. A little bit
Wow. Okay, Julie, Joe, you have to come in and try this seriously. Come and try with
Ladies?
me because I'm not doing this by myself because I don't want this all over my clothes by myself.
Don't forget that it's warm.
Okay, here. You take the first one.
Oh,
Okay, I know. So good, huh?
amazing.
Okay,
Welcome
so
to the
fun.
kitchen. Oh, there's
Wow.
one for you.
Goodness.
Okay, so now is this called bruschetta because it has stuff on it?
No.
Or no, it's still
This is
crostini
just-
with stuff on it?
Crostini with a heart. It's not even crostini. We just have sliced bread. It's not even toasted.
Okay, well,
So you're on something.
could I call it
This is
something else?
harvest-free with crostini. In your
Okay.
house.
Can we try it?
Yes,
Go.
please
Take
do,
a bite.
ladies.
Take a bite. Take a bite.
There
Yum.
you are.
Okay, yum.
And as you'll see, it just oozes beautifully on the plate.
Oh my
but
goodness,
that's
that's amazing.
This
one
tastes
of my
like a
favorite
piece of apple pie.
It does, and it's literally things
Yum.
that you would have in your pantry. Don't forget Brie, the Brie wheels, they freeze really nicely, and so it's something you can keep in your freezer. People stop by, you've got dried fruit
Yum.
of whatever type, whatever kind of nuts, some brown sugar, and a splash of some liquid to make it caramely, and you're ready to go.
Oh, I love it.
I love
Yum.
Wow.
So good.
Yum.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to the kitchen.